Hi guys, and welcome back to day 27 of Inktober. So really quick before I get started, I want to make another announcement that the Kickstarter for the art book of all of my Inktober pieces is officially live. So if you'd like to own basically a copy of every single one of my Inktobers, there is a link down in the description that'll take you over there where you can pledge for it. And I definitely want to do a stretch goal reward very soon. I'm not sure exactly what it'll be. I think I might do stickers of some of the pieces. Let me know in your comments if you guys have any particular requests or ideas for stretch goal rewards that you like to see in Kickstarter. But anyways, anyone who has supported me so far, I hope you know how much that means to me. It's really exciting to be able to move forward to printing this and making it a reality. But anyways, moving on with this actual piece. Yesterday, I talked about how I had a hard time focusing and I wasn't nearly as precise and thought out with the pieces I wanted to be. So there were some things that I wish that I could have done a little bit better. So today is a little bit of my redemption from that. I tried to be very thorough with the planning of the design as well as very aware of what I was doing and when I was doing it. And I tried to just really focus on it. I had seen the error of my ways yesterday, and I made sure that that was something that I was being very, very attentive of this time around, which of course meant that I definitely got a better result today, and I had a lot better of a time working on it. I enjoyed it a lot more, but I did have a lot of fun with this one. I had a lot of fun planning out her dress. I combined elements of several different dresses. And by the way, it is a great resource to go look at high fashion runway shows. They have such interesting makeup designs and hair and dresses that are just so avant-garde. They're so far above what normal dresses are and normal clothing is that it's just really great inspiration for when you're working on artwork like this, where it does not have to be grounded in reality. That is something that I've been really getting a lot more of lately, is getting inspiration from that kind of a source, especially since some of the shows are very, very interesting and ornate and fantasy, and it's just, they have all of these amazing aesthetics that I love. I just have to find the shows that represent that. But anyways, today I had a lot of fun looking through those and finding ways that I could incorporate different inspirations into this one dress. I knew that I wanted it to feel a little bit like there were a lot of layers that built up into one final dress. I wanted it to have different textures and different overlapping qualities, which meant that I wanted to be very planned out with it. This is one of the things that I needed to be very thorough with how I was planning it out and how it was coming together so that it didn't look unrealistic or haphazard. I wanted it to look like it still belonged while still being a little bit eclectic. So I find that when I'm doing something that has a little bit more of a put together kind of a look, I have to be extra on guard when it comes to designing it to make sure that I don't let things get too carried away, too many things that are jarring and not really fit together. So I did try to really pay attention to the details that I had in her dress so that there was continuity in the way that I was showing it, that I didn't have too many things that were one-offs where I had one particular type of line or one particular type of shape. I made sure that there was a shape language throughout the whole dress design, even though there's several different layers and the way that I did that. I've also tried really hard to make sure that I was designing the hair in a more consistent way. I've noticed that the last little while my hair has gotten a little bit away from the way that I wanted to design it. So with my last piece, there were several areas where I did these little hairs that were pointing up, and they're very pointy, and it didn't mesh with the rest of the hair. They felt very off on their own. They were their own separate design element, and that's what I needed to pay attention to in this one. I almost drew a few of them in like that, but the issue with that is that I want it to be very cohesive with the overall design and look, and I have this general rule of how I'm drawing the hair in this one. So when I add these different differently designed ends of the hair, I have to add more so that it looks intentional. But a lot of times it's a look that I just didn't want in the hair to begin with. So I do try to make sure that all the details that I'm doing, they're not one-offs unless it's a very specific and distinct design element, but it's not something that's on its own so it looks odd, but it's also not something that I don't want to be in there, so I don't have to replicate it more often to make it look intentional. And I found that I've been making a very distinct effort to try to get back to figuring out what types of things inspire me the most, and the things that I used to love drawing when I was younger and I've gotten away from it. There's actually a lot of things that I've been realizing I used to love when I was younger and I don't do it now, even outside of art, like reading books. I don't read nearly as much as I used to, but I wanted to try to gather that together, figure out what were the things that I found really inspiring, and how can I bring those back into the work that I do now so that I can feel a lot more connected with the work that I am doing. And when I was younger, I loved designing dresses, and I also loved designing really intricate little details that fit together. And I definitely have a lot more skill now to be able to enact those designs, but I'm not really thinking about it in the same way. And I loved creating these characters that had these stories that felt like they were referencing something happening in their lives. And I'm just feeling really, really prepared and ready to get back into creating the kind of art that makes me excited to create more art. I've created a lot of pieces, and a lot of pieces are ones that I have no connection to. I don't feel inspired by them. I don't like them. I'm not talking Inktober specifically. I just mean over the past several years of working as a professional, doing my own thing. It definitely becomes a job at some point, but I want to be able to figure out what were those aspects that really made me feel passionate about a piece, and how can I start bringing that back in. And yeah, I'm feeling really good about being able to move forward after Inktober. I found that working on such a dedicated project like this, where I had to come up with a new idea every single day, it really got me thinking about what were things that I have done in the past design-wise that I just have not liked at all, and I haven't even cared about it, or I haven't even thought about it enough to not even like it. It's just something that happened and it's gone. And it also got me thinking about, okay, well, what are the pieces that I feel very connected with, that I have been happy with? And those are a lot fewer. So being able to have to think of a new design every single day has really helped me become a lot more introspective on what I want to do moving forward to make myself happier with the pieces that I'm doing, to make everything that much better quality wise, because I know that when it's something that I'm passionate about, I'm able to focus better, and I'm able to spend more time getting the details right because I feel invested in it and I feel like I actually care about the final result. So yeah, I just overall, I feel like at least if the very least thing that Inktober has done for me is taught me that I can start getting myself back on track as far as figuring out what kind of art I want to do in the future. And I do think this might be one of my favorite pieces of Inktober. I feel like I really enjoyed some of the design elements while I was working on it. So I feel really happy about this one. I think that painting the moon behind her was one of my favorite parts. I just really loved getting the texture into it. I love things like that where it's just, once I get a texture that just looks just right, it instantly makes it recognizable as what it is. And I mentioned this brush before, but I absolutely adore this brush. I don't remember exactly what it is. I will link it in the description. I'll see if I can find it and link it, which I do have a link to all of the tools that I do use down in the description. So if you're curious, you can find links down there. But this is actually an oil painting brush, and I love it because it creates this really gorgeous texture. So I highly suggest, if you're working in any sort of water medium like this, to look for brushes that aren't just marked watercolor, because you can find some really great brushes for texture like this one. And this one I use a ton for getting textures like this in the moon and in the background. And that is it for today. So you can own this piece in 3 different ways. I do have the original available over at my art shop. I also have art prints over there as well. And I do have Lumina, which is my art book for Inktober 2017. And that's at Kickstarter. So I'll have both those links down in the description. And that is about it for today. So again, thank you to everyone who does support me through either of those ways, and just by watching my videos as well. That means the world to me. But that's it for today. I'll be back tomorrow with another one. I do post daily Inktober videos, so I'll see you guys tomorrow.